right, Graham, Joyce,
Timothy Hollis,
welcome to the Fairview Social Podcast.
thank you for having me.
I know that you made a long, long trek all the way from about 500 feet away
Yeah, I did.
in the rain, too.
In the rain, I had an umbrella, but it had holes in it, so
So,
that's what it is.
I mean, you could have slipped and fell in the mud, but you made it over here.
I did. Just for you.
I appreciate it. So, how you doing?
Good.
Well, I figured I had somebody on here earlier, and I was thinking about. It's funny because I messed it up because I thought Father's Day was tomorrow, and I was like,
I never know when it is.
I was telling Daniel, I said, yeah, this will probably come out after Father's Day because I was thinking it was going to be next week, or the show's going to come out next week, and I thought Father's Day was tomorrow, so. And then he told me that it wasn't, and I was like, all right, well, then this will be good. I can release them. We'll have like a Father's Day marathon.
Like a pre-Father's Day.
So, with that being said, some of you that are listening may remember the podcast number 5 with Brandy. This is Brandy's other half.
Yes.
Would you say that you're the better half?
No.
I would say that too.
Well,
No, I'm just fucking with you.
no, the truth is, I'm not the better half, but I'm half.
You're half of the marriage.
Hey, people compliment each other. Everyone does different things and has different responsibilities, so we have worked together since 2002, married since 2005, so
There you go.
been a minute.
It has been a minute. I think it's strange that so many marriages now don't last very long because people just give up and don't do it anymore.
It's easier to quit.
Yeah, it is easier to quit, especially when you're early on in your marriage. I think after you get past a certain point, then you're just kind of like,
You're committed.
you're committed. You're like, this is what I'm doing. And,
Yeah.
when you get older, especially, you don't like change. So,
I don't like change at all.
yeah, me neither. So, but yeah, so Father's Day is coming up, not tomorrow, but it's next week. Do you usually get like ties for Father's Day?
No, my wife knows me better than that.
I'm,
I'll just call her Brandy. It feels weird to say my wife.
Oh, you can call her Brandy. People
Yeah.
here know Brandy.
Yeah, if they don't, they can.
They can. All they got to do is go back and listen. And where you can listen, because I'm really bad at promoting myself on here, if you're watching this, you're probably watching it on YouTube or Apple or Spotify or Amazon or iHeartRadio, any of those places you can listen.
Shameless plug, but it's always good to self-promote yourself.
That was the first time I've ever done a shameless plug on here, so I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, I think you cover all the bases.
Yeah, all the ones that are the most important ones anyway. So what it's throughout the years, and you know that your kids are getting old enough now, maybe not Emma, but Ethan, to where, they're on their own to get their own Father's Day gift or birthday or.
Yeah, that's been a blessing, especially when, I guess, Mother's Day comes around. It's like, Ethan, you and your sister go figure it out.
I usually say, I don't have a mother, guys. Y'all need to do something for your mother.
I still have mine. So, and I'm always terrible. She's 600 miles away.
Yeah.
So my family's in Virginia. So I don't want to say out of sight, out of mind, but I am not proactive when it comes to stuff like that, unfortunately. I wish I was better at it, but
I bet Brandy's good at it.
she's great. She's the reason why I don't actually miss all of those things, because she's my little reminder.
I was gonna say that's how Nikki is for me. Like I wouldn't know any birthdays or anything. I mean, they're in the calendar now, so that's helpful.
Yeah, calendars help.
But to do something about it.
Yeah, it's like Christmas Eve shopping back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, you used to have to go to the mall and do it all, but now you can just all right, what does Amazon have that will be here tomorrow?
And now they put on there, it says will arrive before Christmas.
Yes.
Like right now, I was ordering something the other day, big surprise, but it said will arrive before Father's Day.
Yeah, I saw that. I've seen that message.
I appreciate that from Amazon.
Yeah, it's helpful, except when they lie.
Yeah. The worst is when you're you order something and you're like, all right, this will be here this afternoon. Nice. I need this right now. I can wait till 5 o'clock this afternoon, but I need it now. And then some bullshit will happen where it says something like, been a delay in your delivery.
That's right.
Does that happen a lot over at your house?
Uh, 10% of the time, maybe less than that. I would say.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but it still makes me mad when it does happen.
Yeah, it always helps too, because I mean, I got something to Nikki Hollis yesterday. Which,
I know. Yeah.
it's just like,
That's another thing that's good is they take the pictures of it, and she was like looking out the window. She's like, "It says my package is delivered," but
that's funny.
and then she saw the picture, and she's like, "Isn't this Brandy and Graham's house?" I was like, "Yeah, that's their house."
Yeah, I caught Jack outside. I was like, "Hey, give this to your mama."
Yeah, shouldn't. But hey, at least it's not. It didn't get delivered across town or something.
Yeah, that's true.
They usually drop ours off across the street.
Yeah, there's just a level of caring that that reading and being conscientious doesn't really happen a lot anymore.
Yeah. So no ties for Father's Day. What kind of stuff do they usually do for you? Is that mug you got? That was a birthday gift, wasn't it?
Birthday or father? It's birthday or Father's Day.
I think it was a birthday. I remember when you got it.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's one of those things. I like it. I as much as I claim to be simple and just easy, I still like things, right? So I mean, I've got a garage full of things. So there's always. I mean, right now records are the easy button, right? For my family, they can just be like, "Oh, he'd love this."
Yeah.
It's almost like I love getting women Pandora stuff. Like, here's the bracelet. So, I mean, you've got the next 15 gifts lined up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you add to them.
Yeah, little charm bracelets.
That's all right. You actually have spent a lot of time making your garage into like the perfect man space with the sound system you got in there, and then you got that record player back a little while ago.
Yeah, 3D print stuff, RC cars, drones.
Yeah.
All the stuff that I'm into. We got ping pong, darts.
Well, it's all this. You got a kegerator.
Yeah, got things that men need to to unwind, relax, and to have a space. I would prefer to stay in my bubble.
Yeah.
So I've made my bubble what I wanted.
Yeah, you know all about me and my bubble. I'm very.
Sitting in it.
It's funny because you made this comment when I told you I was doing a podcast, and you're like, I guess you know me better than most people because you're just like you that doesn't ever want to be social. And
Yeah,
I was like, you're exactly right.
Yeah, I laughed with Brandy about it earlier. I was like, "Oh, look at Tim getting." I mean, because you've kind of built this out of a real casual thing, and it's still casual, right? But I mean, it's like, okay, well, let's bring in local artists, let's bring in business owners, let's do this, and so it's good to get to know everyone like that, and it's also, I mean, it's good advertising.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a bunch of people listen to this, don't they?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell because you got followers in different places, different social media platforms, and you try to gauge it. And something I was telling somebody is like you can't really go off of views that you see on there because actually Daniel and I were talking about this morning that when kids watch social media, and when I refer to kids, I refer to like, let's just say 18 to below. To whatever age they're looking at the things, like the attention span is like absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And so you can post a clip, you can post a 2-minute clip and you'll get a bunch of views, but you can drill into the analytics and see that they swiped away like 2 seconds in.
Yeah. They weren't interested in what you had to say.
Yeah. It's like, if you don't catch them, like hook them in, then it's like, you've got nothing. But the point is, yes, I think that some people are listening to this. I will say that, and I've said this on here before, that I started this to try to, I am for the community and want to have some people on. I've had like Hester and Buffalini and all of them on there, but how far can you go about talking about the community?
I don't know. I mean, and what do you do? Do you just recycle back? Because I mean, this community is changing so fast.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, but honestly, I'm not a good Fairview resident. It's like I don't do anything. I don't support anything.
It's amazing the places in Fairview you have not been.
I know, and I've lived here all this time, and it's like, what's funny is, before that became Uncle Lenny's over there, that
Country Cafe.
Yeah, Country Cafe. Never been in there in my life.
I went in there once.
I mean, I always stayed away from that side of town because you got the Shady Shell across the street. You gotta be careful.
Yeah, it's funny. I talking with Russell years ago. just about things being on the wrong side of the street or the wrong side of town, and it's true.
Yeah.
If you're going out of Fairview, let's just say you're going to work, you're going down 100. I mean, the business needs to be on the right, not the left.
Yeah, exactly.
And vice versa.
I've said that before too. That's why these coffee shops don't ever make it. Like, you remember when they put that coffee shop over there, where the Thompson's Kitchen is, after it was
Yeah.
supply?
The coffee shop and the cannabis, whatever it was.
You got to have if you're doing a coffee shop in Fairview, you got to have a drive-through, and it's got to be on the right side of the road.
Right. Yeah. So the restaurants made it, but the restaurant people are coming back into town and stuff, and they're not, that they're not going, out of their way. I mean, first world problems, right? We're talking about here. Out of their way, you got to turn left instead of right. But
I'm telling you, it's just like we were talking about with the social media thing a minute ago. It's about convenience to people. If you're not catering to just how people are, then you're not you won't have a successful business.
Sure. Yeah, and you look at Thompson's Kitchen. That place is good. I mean, I'm not trying to plug them, but
No, plug them. I've never even been there before.
Oh, you should go.
Nikki's been there once or twice, and she says it both experiences, or however many times she went, she said it was great.
Yeah, I mean, I hear people talking about, well, it's expensive to go there. Well, I mean, it's expensive to go anywhere.
You go to McDonald's and you spend $30 for two people. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's good quality food, and their desserts are fantastic, and they rotate their menu. It's like chef inspired type stuff.
Oh yeah. Do they serve alcohol there too?
Yeah.
So you can get a beer while you're sitting there eating.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and they have drinks too. Because Brandy will get a drink there. And, yeah. Just don't skip on the dessert. They have some kind of lemon lime pie thing that's just salty and sweet. Really good.
Really disappointed that more of these places don't survive. That because one thing I am real, mindful of is I do want to support local when I can. And it's like you got a lot of these places that come in here and they just don't succeed. It's just I don't know if it's the people here or the lack of support, but what I've seen is like the people just can't manage it. It's like a lot of these places that are.
Look at Detours. I mean,
that's what I was going to say.
Was mismanaged directly into the ground. I mean, that was a perfect spot. It was like, all right, Fairview needs a sports bar, and look at Jefferson's. I mean, that place is packed out every day.
Mm-hmm. That's
why. And I've had better food. I mean, I like going to Jefferson's, but I mean, it's not.
I mean, it's not the best thing, but
no, it's not spectacular. But I mean, it's pretty consistent.
You can watch TV in there, like if you're watching a game, get some beers, got some appetizer type food. I mean, all that stuff that place is perfect for that.
Yeah, it is. All they need to do is fix their little TV arrays. It's really obnoxious to me, and I know you've seen it too. Yeah, I mean, go ahead and invest in some frameless TVs and have someone set it up right. Yeah. Sorry, Jeffersons, but I mean, you need to fix that.
Yeah, you do need to fix that.
You go in there and try and watch a game. Me and Ethan laugh about it every time we go in there because I mean, it's.
I remember when they put those TVs in there when it was like that, and it's been like that since the very beginning. I'd have the people that installed it come back and fix it.
I would, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have signed off on it, but that's just me. Jefferson's is like a franchise place. I didn't realize that at first, but then I was heading towards. Going down to AEDC, the Air Force Base down in Tullahoma, and I look over to the left, and there's Jefferson's in the middle of nowhere. It's like, well, there's one in the middle of nowhere here, so.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of locations. I remember I looked it up online one time, and there was.
Yeah, the menus are different.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, like if you click into them, because I've been to the website too, and it's like, I don't know how different they are because I've never chosen the one that I don't want to go to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're different. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, anyway, like we were saying about this podcast, the evolution of it has become like, I'm fine with talking about Fairview stuff, but it's kind of evolved into just, talking about whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you kind of run out of topics, right? I mean, you talk about this, that, and the other. I mean, we can talk about how the traffic sucks here now and we need to work on infrastructure and all that stuff. But, I mean, who hadn't said that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everybody has said that, so it's something that's been beaten to death, but hopefully they do something about it soon because it sucks.
Yeah.
But you don't have to worry about that too much anymore, like coming home from work, because you get to work from home.
Yeah. I'm primarily from home now, and I travel. I'll be out of town next week.
Oh, that's right. You going to Milwaukee?
No, I'm going to Charleston.
Oh, really?
South Carolina. Yeah, they had some needs out there. Either way, I don't want to get too far in the weeds with
Yeah.
work, but yeah, I wanted to help out the team, and it's also Charleston. I don't know if you've been to Charleston,
No,
but it's
no.
a beautiful place. It's there's a lot of cobblestone streets and Civil War monuments and stuff like that, and there's the beach.
Yeah.
Good food.
You driving or you flying?
No, I'm flying
How long does it take to get there?
on an airplane, like an hour and a half.
Yeah, on a plane, I'm sure it's pretty
Yeah.
quick.
I'm a Southwest fanboy when I can get away with it. So they have a hub in Charleston. It's called North Charleston. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be going out to Anaheim in September. I need to book my tickets. I was actually looking it up, and
Are you going? I know you were on the fence.
I'm still kind of on the fence, but I need to make a decision on it. I mean, it's only for a few days, and I've never been to California, so I wouldn't mind going out there to.
That's what I did for training. There was I had never been to the West Coast either, and Cypress, California is like 20 miles south of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I need to take this class, and I can pick where I take it depending on what time of the year it is. So I chose I chose California, and I remember sending pictures of I've probably taken like 4 selfies in my life, but I took one when I was out in the Pacific Ocean and sent it to Brandy. She was not happy about it.
I'm sure she was jealous.
Yeah.
It's funny because every time I go somewhere new, I always make sure to take a picture, whether it's a selfie or not. Because I don't know if you know this, but if you go to your phone or your Photos app,
Yeah.
like you can do locations and it'll put pins everywhere you've been. So it's like my version of like how people like have their little thing of the United States and then
Yeah, like
put a little
dropping
magnet on it
pins
or-
everywhere.
That's like my version of that, and it's funny because like the whole west side of the country is like there's nothing
No
in there.
pins,
So
yeah.
furthest I've been that way is like I don't know, like Oklahoma or something. Not very. That's not even really West Coast. That's like middle
Midwest, isn't it?
Midwest. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I haven't spent a lot of time out west. I mean, I kind of stopped several jobs ago. I was a regional guy, and I would go like as far as like southeast Texas.
yeah,
But as far, and I've spent some time in Seattle when Seattle was a lot better than it is now, like the political climate and all that stuff. So,
like in the grunge band days of Seattle.
no, I want to say, I mean, no. Yes and no. I mean, it was after like Nirvana and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
it was 2004 or 5, something
Yeah.
like that. No, it was after that. Let's say 7 or 8, because I was already married.
Yeah,
It was a good time. It was pretty. It was funny. You'll appreciate this story. You know how they put out heat advisories? Mm-hmm. So I went, it was, let's just say late June, late July or early August. And I left the airport in North Carolina, and it was 80% humidity and 92 degrees. And I land there, and the humidity is probably in the 20% range, and it was 75, maybe 75 degrees, something like that. And the next day or the day after that, it doesn't really matter. They were putting out heat advisories because it was going to get close to 80. And I'm not even kidding. I had literally long pants and long sleeves on, and there was a heat advisory, and it's so dry there that you don't sweat, right? It just evaporates, and so a lot of people get dehydrated. I was just like, it felt great.
It's funny because here they don't start putting heat advisories out till it's like if it's going to be like 95 or something. Probably in the 90s.
Yeah, the heat index has to be upper 90s or over 100.
It's really humid out here today.
It is.
It's like very moist, rainy, nasty, as it usually is out here. This time of year.
Yeah, I swear those guys. I mean, the weather guys must have a really hard time. I mean, they can pinpoint a tornado, but they can't tell us like in a 4-hour span. Is it going to rain? Be like, and the amount of notifications, and I guess I could just turn it off.
Yeah.
But I got Alexa telling me a thunderstorm's coming. I got Fox 5 telling me a thunderstorm's coming. How many miles away the lightning is, and stuff like. it's going to rain in 4.5 minutes.
Is it usually right?
No,
I was gonna say I don't think that they're usually right.
no. I mean, it's funny because I know Fairview's on a knoll, so I mean, a lot of stuff goes, you know, directly, around us. But
It's like in Back to the Future too. You remember like when they come in and it's like raining and Doc looks at his watch and he's like, "It's gonna stop raining," and three, two,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
and it like stops raining. It's like
yeah. Because it isn't number two where they end up back in that neighborhood.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, it's funny because it is always wrong. It's been it's been very wet this spring.
Yeah, I heard. I was playing poker the other night, and the guy said it's the wettest, first 5 months of the year that we've had, and I don't remember what he said. It was poker night, but
There may have been some drinks involved.
no way. But yeah, I mean, and these are guys that their livelihood depends on being able to work outside.
Yeah,
So it's that's kind of what the conversation revolved around. It's that's got to be tough.
yeah. Being in the landscape business, it's very hard because say it rains one day, say it rains on a Monday, so it pushes you back. You just get a complete rain out, and it pushes you back, and then you're just behind for like 2 weeks until you get caught up. But the customers forget that it rained, 2 weeks ago on that Monday, so it's like obviously that it's not their problem, and you're just trying to catch up. But you're just always in a state of catching up,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah, that's like taking off. It's like taking vacation from work, right?
yeah,
I mean, it's certainly hard for me to take a week off.
yeah,
I would rather like check some emails and do some things and some downtime while I'm on vacation as opposed to having to do it all when I come back because it sucks.
yeah. I'm the same way. One time like when I was coming back from like Haiti or somewhere, I'll never forget because I shut everything off. This was like one of the first times I went. I was like, all right, I'm on vacation. And so I did that, did all the things, got back into the States, went to work the next day. And I'll never forget, I'm like standing there and it was almost like slow motion, like a movie, like all these things, everything's moving around. Because when you're in a place like Haiti anyway, it's like everything, nobody's on any kind of schedule.
Yeah, the stuff that you're used to dealing with doesn't matter.
Yeah. And so like it takes you 3 days to kind of like, oh, this is how we do things. I need to hang out and just take it easy. But then getting back into work, all the emails, all the things happening, all this and that and the other. And so like I vowed back then, I was like, I will never not check my email. It's not good to do that. It really isn't.
No, you have to check out.
Time off needs to be time off. And I think I'm in a better place now to where I probably could do that, but you got to shut it off and enjoy your vacation. But I just don't like the anxiety of when I get back of having like all these things and you're gone for a week and like, all the things happen. It's like, why hasn't any of this happened when I was here? Which it probably does. You're just used to dealing with it immediately.
Yep.
So,
no, 100%. And I think there's something to be said about, the jobs that we used to have versus the ones that we currently have. Because, I mean, okay, you're Jack. If you just go on vacation for a week and you don't do whatever, let's just say you're cutting grass or landscape, whatever, doesn't matter. But that if that's your job is just to produce a result, come back and do it.
yeah. Well, when you're gone, it's
There's
like
nothing to catch up on.
yeah. When you're gone, someone else is going to do it,
Right.
And you just jump back in the swing of things.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the older you get, the more responsibility you have, the harder it is to take time off.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to say it. It's like when you get a big boy job, you got to like do adult things.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. Doing the adult things usually sucks, but
It can, but that's it's really loud in the
that's all right.
the little things. I'll have to get you to edit it out.
Yeah,
Not gonna happen, is it?
no, there won't be any editing of anything. Oh, there might be. I mean, if we need to, but little sounds on the table don't bother me. So, back to Father's Day stuff.
Yeah.
So we've been neighbors for a long time. I left and came back, and the
Where'd
kid.
you go?
Well, yeah, I went to the slums down at the bottom there, and so I do like it better up here. I like my house better down there, but I like it better up here, and so our kids have kind of grown up together. Not
Yeah.
kind of, they have grown up together.
Yeah.
Jack and Ethan have been in the the same grade, and buds, high school buds.
Yeah. Yeah. They have, Jack, Johnny, and Ethan. They're like the three amigos, and it's funny to watch them progress into the next phase of their lives because they're all doing something different.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's I don't know, it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching it, and if we're gonna kind of theme this to Father's Day, I mean it's that's kind of what we're here for, right? Is to procreate and make good humans,
Yeah.
and humans that can contribute. So I mean that's I don't know that when you think about it just on a simple level, it's like, all right, what are we doing here? Like, well, I'm trying to have fun, and I'm trying to raise,
Yeah.
trying to raise a family, and trying to do the best that I can to influence a better generation.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree. The kids, you know, all kids do dumb things from time to time. And
They certainly do.
what's interesting is like our kids, at least not that I'm aware of, have done any kind of major like dumb thing that's been like the talk of the town, you know? It's like it's nice that you have
Not
raised.
yet. Yeah, give them time.
Well, hold on. Well, you still you still have someone that is under 18.
Yeah, Emma is.
Emma's under 18, but me, it's like
You're done.
I'm done. I'm still going to continue to be their father, but like if they get in trouble and go to jail or do something stupid like that,
Yeah.
it's like I don't think that that's going to happen because we've raised good kids and I don't foresee that happening.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like they're going to drag you to jail because they're all above the legal age.
Yeah, but if they were younger, like say they're 15 or something in high school and they're being, always in trouble or doing something like that, we've never had to deal with that.
No, we haven't, and we've both been really lucky in that respect.
I know, very lucky.
I wasn't that easy on my parents.
Really?
No.
Were you a troublemaker in school?
Yeah,
Really?
100%.
I don't. It doesn't. I mean, maybe I could see it. No, not really. You don't seem like you have that kind of personality.
It's not like I was a bad kid, but I mean, just a smart aleck, a quick wit, and just I was always unable to just do it because I said so kind of rhetoric is like, oh, because I said so. I mean, I remember making a substitute teacher cry because she kept on calling me son. Sit down, son. Stop talking. I mean, I'm sure I was doing something wrong.
Yeah, but
And I swear, I looked at, and she was not old. I mean, middle school or early high school, probably late. Let's just say I was in 8th grade. And this lady, I mean, I bet you she wasn't 25 or 30 years old. I was like, look, I'm not your son. And
that's funny
I don't
because
know what else I said to her, but I mean,
that would be in my head, but I wouldn't say it.
yeah, I don't have that problem. It always just flies out.
Well, I do know that about you.
Yeah.
But that is strange. Like, I would never, like, if Ethan came over, I wouldn't be like, son, hey, son. That just seems kind of
Right.
weird.
Kid, child, sir, call me by my name, for God's sake. I mean, I understand she's a substitute. She probably didn't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, son was just, I don't know, it rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm not trying to be a badass by saying I'm not your son. But, I mean, it's that kind of thing. I've been in school suspension. I've been in out-of-school suspension in high school. And, my mom used to have to come pick me up and stuff. It was bad.
Was it just you being a smartass? You weren't like getting in fights or anything, were you?
No, there was one time where, so I had God, what was he? He was a science teacher, and let's just say it was chemistry, because I was already taller, and I was taller than he was, and the bell rang. Oh, what was his name? Mr. Ridenhour or something like that. Either way, I mean, different state, different, so, but I shoulder checked him and I was taller than he was. So I hit him in the jaw.
Like with your fist?
No, I just,
Or with your shoulder?
yeah,
I
just leaned into him. I basically just gave him a little shove.
Yeah.
I'm like, what a stupid thing to do. I mean, this guy's my elder, my teacher. I mean, what a jerk thing to do. But I mean, yeah, I ended up in the principal's office for that for sure.
Did you get suspended or anything?
That was probably in school suspension. There was one time, it's funny. There was a kid, and this was like a multi-part process. So
Yeah.
he had a backpack, and like everyone does, and this was in high school, and I can remember I identified the backpack, and all I did, there was a basement to the school, and we were out in the like the courtyard eating lunch, so I snatched this kid's backpack, put it at the bottom of the stairs, and then someone else took it, threw it in a toilet, and I guess they peed on it. I don't know, but I mean, I got in trouble for it too. I mean, it was a big deal. I mean, I was suspended out of school for 5 days.
Really?
Yeah, and all I did was I was basically an accomplice.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was party to it, and my mom called up the school. I guess it was 5 days out of school. Either way, she called up the school. It's so embarrassing. And she was like, well, he can't miss 5 days of school. So you know what they did? I mean, in my school, they had after-school suspension, which was literally like from 3:15 to 6:30. And you couldn't sleep. You couldn't talk. I mean, I would have rather sat at the house.
So after school suspension, is it like you still go to school and you do your normal studies?
Yeah,
It's just
and then you have to hang out for 3 hours and do nothing. That's the first time I've ever seen anyone paint the inside of their hand with rubber cement and huff it. I'm not kidding. I mean, it was just like,
pretty good.
Like, what is this kid doing? I mean, of course, you see the people like kind of eat glue or peel it off your fingers. This dude was just
So was it like the breakfast club in there, except as the late afternoon club, the dinner club?
Yeah, but it wasn't nearly as entertaining as the movie because I mean, these teachers, I mean, they didn't
want to be there.
No, good Lord, could you imagine?
No.
I mean, I would have just left.
Yeah. So if you get suspended from school, like, do they like send you with a packet of shit that you're supposed to do?
I'm sure they did. My memory is awful.
Yeah, mine is too. I mean, I never had any issue like that. Like I was always straight edge, always followed the rules. And my biggest fear was like, cause I'm very like self-aware, I guess. And so I'll be the first to say like, hey, if my kid is being an asshole, like I will tell you that. And so like, I would always ask the kids when they get home, how did school go? How did everything go? Were you nice to people? Was there any issue? Wondering if like, were they causing trouble? Because you don't know. I mean, hell, they're there 8 hours a day. You don't really know what they're doing, but I never had any issues with that. And the kids were always fine. But apparently you weren't very good in school. You're being a smart ass.
Yeah. I another good story about fun high school. So when my core group of friends was a year older than I was, for the most part, so they could drive a year sooner than I could. So I must have been 15.
Yeah.
So they were all 16, 17. So I remember I skipped school with Brian Webster, and our diabolical plan was to go fishing, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
But this dude loved to lock his keys in his truck and run out of gas. This son of a bitch ran out of gas. I mean, we had to walk miles, buy a gas can, fill it up with gas, walk back. And so we get home, and my mom worked for the school system.
Oh God!
Well,
that makes it all even worse.
Well, it wasn't the same school system.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say all of this that you've been talking about.
No. This was a different school system. Thank God.
Miss Joyce, your kid's acting up again.
I'm sure she felt like that anyway. But yeah, we showed up, and she just like showed up. I don't know if it was early dismissal day or I don't know what she was doing home, but we were just hanging out on the on my parents' porch at, I don't know, 1:30, 2 o'clock, and here she just comes tooling up. She's like, "What are y'all doing here?" I was like, "Well, what do you say?" Well,
Well, they let us out early.
yeah, yeah, and she knew better. No, but I mean, it was all. There was never any like malicious things.
Yeah, no one got hurt.
that I really did. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, school was not my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that I've talked about this before, but I'm really like hardcore. Like, there's people that are in school. Eli was a good example that maybe they just don't perform so well in school just because they're not into it. You know, there's people that are intentionally just, maybe just don't do the work because they don't understand it. There's probably that going on, but there's so many kids out there that maybe they just don't have interest in it, and there's bright kids.
Yeah.
And they just don't do well in school.
Yeah, I mean, I would call myself a pretty smart person. I didn't do great in school. I mean,
Yeah.
and a lot of it has to do with attention span and are you interested in what you're doing. I went to community college right after high school, and I did so terribly. I mean, I passed one class in a year with a D. My GPA was I think it was a .07. Honest to God.
Were you trying?
No.
You're just.
No, I was there so I didn't get kicked out of the house. It's like, so you're either going to do this or you're going to have to find another place to live. And she was right. This is my mom. She was a main disciplinarian. My dad was cool. He's still cool. But
Well, he was the more lax parent in the situation.
for sure. Yeah. But yeah, so I did that and I just didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But, so I went and I started cutting grass and just working.
Yeah.
And just had an epiphany. I can remember where I was. I was in like the middle seat of a 3-seat van, like a Grand Caravan. So, there's front seats, middle, and then back. So I think I was in the back, and my mom was like, "You need to do something, figure it out." So, and she had already been doing some reconnaissance for me because I'm a technical person. So, and there was this community college in Danville, Virginia, that Virginia Tech, my mom's Virginia Tech alumni, and they recommended. And that's how I ended up, moving out and doing all those things. And I went from, not passing a class, I mean, a lot of times because I didn't attend the class,
Yeah.
and to graduating summa cum laude.
Yeah.
And it was a 2-year degree, and I loved doing it. I loved being out on my own, and yeah, I mean, that just kind of propelled me to where I am now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that as you grew up and sounds like you're kind of rebellious anyway with a lot of that stuff. It was your decision, and when you started doing good, it was on your terms. It seemed like,
Yeah.
rather than someone saying,
Yeah, but you don't look at it that way when you're when it's happening.
yeah,
It's almost like you wish you could be out here look and be like, God, you're just screwing up. Why are you doing this?
yeah. Well, I mean, all of that kind of stuff happens for a reason, and
Yeah.
and now here you are, and you.
Yeah. So if I don't mess up in my first community college experience, I don't meet. I don't go to Danville. I don't meet Brandy. I don't, marry this person. I don't have the, it's funny to think about that stuff. I enjoy thinking about, things like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. What could have been, or what
knows?
these different like there's always like these markers in your life where, these things happen. It's like, what if I took the other road,
Yeah.
what happens? But this is
Who knows? I mean, it's like the whole job thing, right? I mean, is the grass really greener? Who knows? You'll never know.
yeah.
My grass is pretty green right now, so I don't care.
Yeah. Your grass is green. Those both ways.
Literally and figuratively.
Yes, literally and figuratively, your grass is green. But yeah, I can't complain, man. We got a good life. We live in a good neighborhood. We got good neighbors. We got there's a lot of good things that are happening out here. We got good kids.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of, Jack and Ethan both. Johnny's kind of like also our kid in some way. You know, proud of the three amigos for graduating a few weeks ago, and
Yeah.
it's a huge part in your life.
Yeah, it is. It was funny. So Ethan's dog sitting, and he's dog sitting for the Thompsons, and right now they're in between. So they sold one and they bought one. So in the interim time, they're in an apartment in Bellevue, close to the movie theater or something like that.
Oh, that's right. You were telling me that he was going to be dog sitting.
Yeah. So he's dog sitting. So he literally, I mean, it doesn't make sense to just drive back and forth the whole time. They stocked the fridge and the pantry for him. I mean, just a stand up move. Shout out.
Yeah.
But it's like just stay over there.
For him to have a wild party, Graham.
Yeah,
And then they're going to get home and there's going to be like 3 things picked out of all the stuff they stocked up.
Yeah,
he's just
right.
hanging out.
Yeah, they're gonna have a D&D war over there or something. Who knows what they're gonna do?
Yeah.
I doubt that. But I say all that to say he wasn't. He stayed over there last night.
Yeah.
So it was me, Brandy, and Emma. So it's like a taste of what the future is gonna be. And man, it's different.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when Eli moved out. It was, I mean, it was natural. It was weird at first,
Yeah.
but then after you do a few days of it, mainly because like you spend your whole life, the first whole 18 years or however many years of them living with you, of like, when I ask my kids what they're doing, it's not because like I care that like you're not getting yourself in trouble, just to kind of like, hey, that way I kind of know and make sure you're all right, or when to expect you home, so I'm not worrying and that kind of stuff. But when they leave and then you don't do that,
Yeah.
it just feels weird.
Yeah, I know. Ethan was always on Brandy's phone plan.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, I want you to keep your read receipts on, because you're not going to ignore a text that I can see that you've read, or this or the whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's if they're not 18, you're responsible for them, and you want to know. I mean, and it's not a selfish thing,
Oh, it's acceptable.
but it's like the same thing, like with the location service. Where is Ethan? Did he make it where he needed to go? It's like, let go and let God, because he turned that off.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
Yeah, it's really, it is definitely, I remember dealing with all that kind of stuff, just with just how strange it is when, it's part of your family, but also a part of you that's gone. And luckily they're just gone and growing and being a person and a human. And all you can do at that point is be like, well, I gave him all the things that I thought that I tried to be a good dad.
Yeah.
I try to be a good dad, and hopefully you're not doing something stupid or you're not getting yourself hurt. That's the main thing. And then,
if you make a bad decision, at least have the I don't even know what to call it. I mean, to have the frame of mind to fix it,
to how you handle it. Figure
exactly.
it out.
I mean, I mean, no one's going to be perfect.
No, absolutely
but
not.
At the same time, and I don't even want them to be perfect. I want them to, make a mistake. I mean, how else are you going to learn other than making mistakes? I can say that I made a ton of mistakes.
Yeah.
But, looking back on it, I learned from them too. I mean, all those mistakes, that I guess everything holistically has led me to where I am. And who I am.
Yeah.
So, and how you judge success is pretty telling, of you as a person, right? So how I judge my success is all the people that I have around me that I've had an impact on. How are they doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I can provide, I can coach, I can do this, I can do that. But, your legacy are the people that you have an impact on, right? Whether it's your spouse, whether, it's your kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it's, I think you have, and I don't know how much information, but it's just, your area out here, how you've become the patriarch of your family and how many lives you actually influence and have an impact on. You could look at your success or your failure,
Yeah.
as everyone that you put yourself around. You don't get to control them, but you have an impact on them.
Yeah, I think that's really good. That's really well said. I was thinking that when you were talking about that, I was thinking about how before my dad passed away, probably 2 or 3 years before, I started getting really, really not crazy self conscious about it, but really like legacy type things because the kids were getting to an age where you really need to start thinking. You don't have to start thinking about it, but like how am I shaping these kids? I guess I was thinking about. And so before my dad died, like I said, 2 or 3 years, I told him, I was like, you're not being a very good patriarch of this family. And it's like, I wasn't rude to him or anything like that, but
Yeah.
my dad was always like very, not involved. Because, and honestly, this goes back to what we were saying a minute ago. Like, if Brandy wasn't here, Nikki wasn't here, it's like I wouldn't know any of the things that are going on. So my dad was alone, so he's by himself, and so he's not keeping up with all of these things.
Yeah.
And so he was a great father. Don't get me wrong, but as far as like knowing anything and being involved and anything like that, it's like he just wasn't there. And I told him, I was like, we're looking to you as like the head of this family.
Yeah.
And my dad was always like, when you're talking to him, he's just like this, like he's listening to you, but he's not like, he's not responding or anything like that. So I told him, I said, I'm going to be the patriarch of our family now. And he's,
You nominated yourself.
I nominated
Someone
myself.
has to nominate somebody.
Well, it's because, and honestly, it wouldn't have been just me nominating myself if Nikki wasn't there with me, because Nikki makes me a better person and more,
Yeah, can confirm.
I don't know exactly the words to put behind it, but like, I feel more, not control. I just feel like people, I don't know what I feel. But anyway, so I told my dad that I was going to be the patriarch of the family. And that's what I did. Like, any event that we have is here. And,
Yeah, but you were intentional about doing it. You saw a need and you
yeah, there was
filled the need.
there was no leadership because the family's got to have leadership.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm obviously the leader of my family. You're the leader of your family. But like in the broader spectrum of like the bigger family, of course it was bigger then. It's just like he wasn't holding it together. And I think that I probably hurt his feelings when I told him that, but like legacy and things like that are really, and it's important to me now, but I was like, man, we got to lead these kids like as a family, as you being their grandfather. What are we doing here? And so I kind of took it over, but all of that to say that, yes, I'm the patriarch of at least this family here. And that's a lot of weight for a dad to have on him.
It is.
For you and yours. And
Yeah, it is. I mean, especially, and you're an anxious person. I'm not.
I'm very anxious.
So, I don't carry that. I don't carry the anxiety of it with me. I know that I try and do the best that I can on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. I mean, I'm
Well, admitting that
yeah, you could fill a book with the things that I could have done better, but
you could probably fill 3 books with the things I could have done better.
well, yeah, but I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, when you're looking back on your life, I mean, does it really matter? I mean, it matters what the output is.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the output would be what have you changed for someone else?
Yeah.
Whether it be your kids, the people you're involved with, friends, extended family. I mean, it's funny when I pull into the neighborhood and I see particular cars because I know what they drive.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people who can just be like, oh, well, so and so's over at Tim's house there. But it's like, all right, well, you're doing family stuff. I mean, good for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just show up. Sometimes they're invited. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't really mind any of that stuff.
No.
But I mean, we are even for Nikki's family too. It's like we are kind of like the center point of everything. Where people, because we're centrally located, we got a little bit more space than everyone else, and we got the pool.
Yeah, pool doesn't hurt.
Pool doesn't hurt, but I don't know. You look back at all of it, and again, you have one that's passing this certain threshold. This is a marker that you're always going to remember, and that you're entering some very uncharted territory. And I wouldn't even know how to comment on to have a. How old is Emma now?
10.
She's 10.
She'll be 11 the 21st of this month.
I was going to say I thought she was 10 or she was about to turn 11. So that's just a territory.
She's a mess.
Well, I mean, I don't know that she's a mess, but having that aspect that you're about to have to deal with while you have one that's like, you've sent on his way because he's going to college and doing all that kind of stuff. So it's a very strange. Whenever Eli got old enough and left, it was strange that he was gone, and then it was like the younger two. Yeah. And so you're kind of readjusting your family dynamic.
Yeah, wasn't that? I mean, so what's the time difference between Eli leaving and Hayden leaving?
So Eli left. He went to the Army when he was, I think he was out of high school for about a year or something. But you got to remember, Hayden graduated a year early.
Yep.
Which already had a hard enough time dealing with Eli leaving and going to the Army. Mm-hmm. And then Hayden graduates a year early, and we drop his ass off in New York when he's 17.
So what was that? Sorry.
That was
2 years in between the two?
Yeah, probably 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
But it was really weird because I was not prepared for that. I didn't like dropping him off out there because that's just a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
And then that kind of put us where it's just me, Nikki, and Jack. And then obviously my grandfather moved in and all that, but that's its own story. But like the dynamic of now there's 3 of us. And I'm sure that Jack will, move out at some point. Maybe he won't. I don't know. And then they'll just be the 2.
Hopefully he doesn't rush it.
No, I don't think he's going to rush
there's
it.
Not.
Jack is a lot smarter than I was when I was 18 because he's in his mind, he's like, I need to save money. And back then for me, I'm like, I need to get out of here. I don't give a shit how much anything costs.
Yeah, it's funny, when I lived at home and I had a full-time job, so I'm done with high school. Well, this was a landscaping job, and I've probably told you this, but I never had more money than when I was making like $10 an hour, but I had no bills.
I know.
It's just like I just had this fat wad of cash in my wallet, and that's all I had.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything to spend it on other than things I shouldn't have spent it on.
Yeah, well,
that was fun.
That usually happens. For me, I moved out when I was 18, and then I went and did my life living paycheck to paycheck, which was foreshadowing for most of the rest of my life.
Whatever.
And then after a while, I realized I'm like, well, it wasn't so bad at home, so I moved back home and saved some money. Didn't have to pay rent or anything, and I'm happy to see that Jack's not just like, all right, I'm moving out and I'm starting my life. It's like he's at least thinking through and being like, look, because I've had conversations with him where he wants to save X amount of money and
stack up some cash and then figure it out.
Well, and it also kind of makes me happy because I wasn't miserable at living at home with my dad or anything like that, but it was just always gloomy. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 15. And so my dad never recovered from that. So anytime I went into the house, it was just like depression, dark. And I just wanted to be out of that.
Yeah.
And so I've been thinking about that a lot lately because Jack's at home and it's like, he doesn't mind being here, which makes me happy that we've provided an environment that's not depressing. And I could be completely off base. It might just be he's like, I want to get the hell out of here, but I need to save money. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, I don't know about it because Jack and Brandy talk plenty, so I haven't heard anything like that. So I'll just assume that he's being responsible.
Yeah, yeah, and also I would also like to think that he doesn't have the pressures of certain things here, like me. Being hard on him or anything like that, because I've never really been hard on him. He's the baby, so he's gotten it easy.
That's right.
Compared to the other 2.
Yeah, my little brother, he could just do whatever.
It's for some reason there's less supervision of the youngest one, but there's also he's my baby. There's nothing he can't do anything wrong.
Well, yeah, and you also I don't want to say you care less because that's not the case, but you just place less importance
Yes.
on stuff like that,
You
right?
don't sweat the small stuff like you
Right.
did
It's
when.
like, well, yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I think it's funny, and I don't know if Jack does this to you guys, but Ethan will give me, parenting advice on if Emma's doing something stupid or something that annoys her. I don't know why you just, you let her do that. I was like, well, when you have kids, you can figure it out for yourself. But until then, this is what we're going to do. And this is a calculated decision that you know nothing about.
Yeah.
You know what? Very smart. I won't say very responsible, but I mean, he's got his whole life ahead of him to figure it out. And I'm sure I did the same thing. I know it. I know that when I was 18 that I knew it all. And then when you have that epiphany moment to where you're never going to know it all,
Yeah.
that's when you grow.
Yeah, I was going to say the kids aren't because they're fresh out of graduating high school, but they will have that moment where they're like, well,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
Holy shit, Dad was right.
It's all on me. Did you ever have the issue like with Ethan, like seeing how you and Brandy are like, whether it be disciplining or just like how you're handling a particular situation with Emma where you've gone easy on the situation and he's like, well, whenever I was young, whenever I did something like that.
Yep, 100%. And with them, my comment to that is always, you all are not the same person. You know them both.
Yeah, it's like you got to handle.
They're
handle them
daylight
different.
and dark,
They
oil
are,
and
yeah.
water. They're both good kids. Emma's not going to be as trouble free as Ethan moving from now until the graduation of high school. There's no way. I believe that in my soul, and that doesn't mean anything. I mean, it just knows that I'm self-aware that they're not the same people.
Their personalities are very much different, and you have to handle them
their
different.
interests, their personalities, I grew up with two brothers. I had never had a girl.
Yeah,
I'm thrilled to death that I have one now, but it's a different game, raising a girl than raising a boy.
I think we've talked about this before outside of this,
I'm sure we have.
and I think that I've told you that like I really don't know how you do it. I really don't because I've got 3 boys. It's like you got boys. It's like you know how to manage boys. Yes, they have different personalities and. So, one of them needs something different than the other. And so you just kind of, you grow into that and figure it out. But like throwing a girl in the mix, me being a guy, it's like, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that I don't either.
Yeah, I guess
but it is a learning experience. I learn about it every day. And Brandy has helped me a lot with it because, obviously she's a girl.
Yeah.
But, Emma is, hormones, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I mean, so all things are changing and doing this, and I don't necessarily know how to deal with that. So thank God that she does, and Brandy can kind of bring me back to reality, be like, some of this stuff she can't help.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah,
seems so. I mean, it's just so foreign to anything that I've ever dealt with. So I mean, there again, learning.
Well, what you have to compare it to is Ethan, and it's like you can't compare the two because your parenting is like, what's happened, and so and some things will be the same as far as parenting, engaging that between the two, but usually that's just like an age thing. But the thing is like you got a lot of these other things in play.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, tons of them. I mean, there's a totally different dynamic. There's a different way to go about it. You can't just be black and white with a girl.
Yeah.
You cannot. I think there's so many, and just like, our wives, I mean, they operate in the gray, right? So they're going back between, okay, let's just call white emotional and black technical. I mean, there's this gray area that they just sit in.
Yeah.
Because some things just don't make any sense. Be like, why are you upset? I don't know. Well, I'm just upset. But like, all right, well, I mean, I'm going to walk away then.
Well, dudes are usually pretty black and white.
Yeah,
Most of the time.
100%. And that's why it was so easy. And Ethan's still easy to deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a pain to deal with, things that don't go the way that you think that they should, but
Yeah.
to know, and they're both, I mean, Jack and Ethan and Johnny as well. I mean, that they're intelligent enough to know what's going on and what they have in store for them. It would behoove all of them to just take some advice. But when I was 18, I didn't take my parents' advice either. So it's like,
I didn't either. I mean, I wasn't like rebellious against it. I just would act like I was listening and didn't listen and
yeah,
did whatever the hell I wanted.
yeah. That just always seems so crazy to me that you weren't more of a hellion than you were.
It really wasn't, man.
I know it just seems crazy to me.
Yeah, the worst thing that I did was when I was a senior in high school, and I was telling Jack this when it was leading up to graduation, is I had a economics class that what was Sergeant Hill? I don't know if I think he's still he might have retired by now, but Sergeant Hill was like the JROTC guy, but he also taught government/economics is what it was when I was in high school. And I had that class the second half of the year, and I went to one of the classes, and I was like, and it's funny now because like all I do is watch politics and all that kind of stuff. I wish I would have listened back then, but like I was like, you know what? I don't give a shit about this class. I'm just not going to go. And economics. And I was sitting there thinking like, I was like, it was like this battle in my mind of like doing this bad thing where I was just like, because my car's just sitting right outside since I can drive to school.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to put up with this shit. I'm leaving.
Yeah. And you knew better than he did.
I know. So I went to the class once.
And then you had early release every other day.
And then like, cause it was in the afternoon. So it was like afternoon, like after 12, I would just like leave. And so, but then I went in like, every once a month.
Yeah. That's not enough.
And it was always strange because he was never like, hey, Mr. Hollis, what are you doing? I don't know. And so when I went that second time and I realized he wasn't going to say anything about it, I was like, well, fuck it, I'm not going to go again. And I did that all the way up to the very end of school. The last 2 weeks of school, the principal came up to me. And I never talking to the principal. Like I said, I never got in trouble, never did anything wrong. She came up to me and she says, you know that you're really shouldn't be graduating right now. And I was like, shit. I was like, why is that? She's like, well, you didn't finish this class.
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't lie to her. I mean, she put me on the spot.
Yeah.
This was like,
rights.
This was like the practice run of graduation. So graduation was like a day or two later.
Oh, wow.
And she's telling me this. And I was like, well, am I going to be able to graduate? And she looked at me and she kind of chuckled and she gave me a hug and she says, yes, you're going to graduate. Yeah. I was like, okay. Like I did one bad thing. I got caught and then there was no repercussion for it. And so,
yeah. What lesson did you learn?
Well, what lesson I learned there is, yes, absolutely nothing. I should have gotten in trouble for it.
Yeah.
But it's like the same with these kids. Like the last few months of school is just kind of dicking around, not really doing anything because they're done. It's like they're finished with it.
Yeah. I mean, with all of the college applications and stuff like that you're encouraged to do, I guess, right. Early acceptance is in the wintertime and you graduate in the summer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're going to be accepted into a school, like I think Ethan got his UK acceptance. I mean, it was months and months ago. I mean, it was cold outside for sure. And I don't know. It's I wish school was. I wish it was harder.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that the consequences were there because I think it would head off some of the problems that certain people are going to have in the future. If you have it's cause and effect, right? I mean, if you go to the class twice, then you don't get credit for it.
Well, it's concerning to me because I've said this before, and I think I might have even talked to you about this, that Eli, I could not get him to do anything
Yeah, we
in high
just
school.
talked about this.
It's like I couldn't get him to do anything, and they let him graduate. So, two things: one, okay, good, let him graduate.
Yeah.
He gets out in the world. But two, it's like, is that happening a lot with people that are just not doing shit in school? It's like,
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, everyone's situation is different. He ended up, graduating, enlisting in the army, and he's a very successful, well-adjusted person. That doesn't always happen. I mean, if you just push people through,
yeah,
you know, eh, if you push people through to get test scores and to get funding, there's something inherently broken with the system.
well, that's what I was concerned about is stuff like that because
It happens. I mean, that's a huge part of the Department of Education.
yeah,
And yes, there needs to be checks and balances. How else are you gonna evaluate how you're doing? But I just on a basic level, that's broken.
yeah, that's that's the main
100%
thing.
broken.
Like I said back early on in this time that we've been sitting here, like I said, I'll be the first to tell you like if my kid is being a jerk or if my kid is doing something wrong because I've always been pretty self-conscious about, I don't want to be that. I've never wanted to be that parent since I got married, since the kids were really young. I never wanted to be that parent that was just like, oh, well, my kid's perfect, or my kid's perfect. Maybe the pendulum
love
has,
that.
maybe the pendulum has swung all the way to the other side, and I'm constantly looking for my kids doing something wrong, and that's not good either. But with Eli having all those problems in school, the reality was it wasn't like all of him having all these problems. It was me having problems with him not doing his schoolwork, but they let him pass on through. So
Yeah,
that's
but you're trying to hold them accountable in the school,
exactly.
and the system is just saying, well,
exactly. Well, I'm all about getting one over on the system if you can, but at the same time, like you said a minute ago, that's
especially
probably
if the system sucks.
yeah, it's probably a bigger issue that is concerning.
Yeah, well, I don't want to, get again too far in the weeds, but yeah, there's a lot of concerning things that happen.
Yeah.
I've talked to lots of people about, and I've been in a lot of school systems as well with, previous work and stuff, and talking about holding people back in TCAPs and this, that, and the other. I mean, if you base your child's future on a set of tests that, may or may not be applicable to their future, I think you've done our kids a disservice.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's all I'm gonna. Again, I mean, I'm not trying to stir up shit or anything like that. I just, if we're not open and honest about stuff like this, about what we feel, and that's why I think it's important for the parents and the citizens of communities to go to city council meetings and to go all these places and say, something's broken.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I've always found that trying to troubleshoot something for work or this, if you take bite-sized chunks out of it, it works a lot better. You just say, oh, well, this is bad, and we need to fix it. Well, okay. Give me a suggestion. I received a good piece of feedback from a bad review years ago, and this was when we still lived in North Carolina. It's like, if you're going to complain about something, give me a solution for it. Give me a path to go.
What would you do to fix it?
Well, exactly. Don't just say this sucks.
Yeah.
Just say, all right, this sucks. And if I were to give you some feedback, whether you listen or not, this is what I would do. It happens today in my job. If I'm vocal and say, we need to do this,
Yeah.
first of all, what's the return on investment? And second of all, how are you going to implement it? And then I'll go, and this is somewhere, director, VP level. It's like, okay, well, I can fight that fight, but I need all of this stuff from you. So I've learned if I'm passionate about something, I better figure it out before I bring it up.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to get an extra job.
Well, that's a good life lesson to learn, though. I mean,
Yeah,
for
100%.
sure.
Be like, oh, you think it sucks? How are we going to fix it? You tell me.
Yeah. I mean, even all this stuff circling back to like Fairview type things, like all the problems that we complain about and the things that people have problems with.
Right.
They get on. I know that you're not on there, but like on Fairview Then and Now, it's like
I hear about it
it's
because Brandy tells me so.
it's just a lot of complaining on there. But you're exactly right. It's like, well, okay, thank you for your complaint.
Yeah.
But
How should we fix it?
what is your suggestion?
Exactly.
And understand that it is a suggestion. The thing about Don Buffalini was on here. He's a commissioner here in Fairview.
Yeah, I voted for that guy.
I can at least give him respect for the fact that he is trying to fix whatever issues people have. It's like he didn't have to jump in there. None of the people that are working for the city council or any of that don't have to do any of that.
It's not a well-paying job. You know what I mean?
And just listening to people talk shit all the time about everything.
Yeah, I mean, I know Lisa Anderson personally. I mean, and I know that she deals with a lot of the social media blowback from everyone just complaining.
Yeah.
Right. And, I mean, it takes a toll on your soul for sure.
Yeah. It's
Just
just
like, all right, why am I doing this?
Well, it's just people. That's the thing about social media because it is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because just, you know what? Everybody is entitled to their opinion. They put it out there, and it's just like sometimes you just want to be like, you over there, you shut the fuck up because
Just hit the mute button on them.
yeah, because they just
I heard a good quote, and it had to do because I've thought about this too because I've always been one of those guys. I've had a company paid cell phone my entire professional career, so 20 plus years.
yeah.
We'll say, good God, I'm getting old. 25.
You are getting old, Graham.
Yeah, I know. But I was like, if I could get off the grid, that kind of thing, then I would. Well, first of all, that's a lie because I wouldn't have the job that I had if I could just like not have the internet and not have a phone.
You're like a tech.
Right, exactly. So I mean, I know I'm being facetious when I say that. But at the same time, I heard this quote. I was like, the internet was a beautiful thing before social media. And I do believe that.
You know what?
I love doing stuff like this because this is not social media. This is just me coming, hanging out, and having a couple beers with you. Mm-hmm. And if this conversation feels different than that, then it doesn't to me. But either way, yeah, I mean, I agree with that statement.
No, I never even thought about that until you just said it, and that's 100% right. Because as soon as you said it, I was thinking to myself, "All right,
so you can find information.
Yeah.
You can do this. You can do that. But if you could just block out the noise,
yeah."
that every and it's just too much.
The thing
I think it's just too much.
The thing about social media is on the surface. It's the same with like this stuff coming with AI. It's on the surface, the social media. I like the fact that you can connect yourself with people that are across the country or old friends that you haven't seen across the world. It's like we're all connected, and that's a great thing.
It is.
What's not great is using it for bad, just like AI. The AI capabilities that we are coming into are fantastic to make our lives better and easier. But you know that there's going to be some asshole out there that's just like drops these bombs of the. Sometimes people are too smart for their own good, and they're devious and want to do something bad with it.
I think the devious part. I don't know if too smart for their own good, but yeah, I mean, if you just have ill intentions, then that's just what it's going to be. I mean, it's one of the worst sayings. It is what it is. Be like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
That's the dumbest saying ever. But I mean, I use it.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, because you can't change what it is.
Well, the thing is we're this is like a freight train coming, and there's nobody can stop it. It's like
well, no one's trying to stop it either. I mean, and I don't think they should. But I mean, at the same time, all of these tools, these software tools and these AIs and all of the social media stuff, if people would just use it responsibly and use it to try and better our society, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I mean, it's from my standpoint, and the reason why I don't use it is it's just used for division. It's just used for, well, oh my God, if you don't believe what I believe, then I hate you and you're terrible.
There's more. I don't want to say this in general, but maybe in your life, for example, you're looking at it like it's more bad than it is good. The bad outweighs the good in the situation. But think about this. Like, think about the founders of the country and free speech and all that kind of stuff. And I'm 100% behind free speech, and I'm 100% behind people can put whatever they want on social media. But like, sometimes it's just like it's out of hand. But
Well, it's one of those. Should you be able to? Yes, but should you? I don't know.
that's
I mean, and that's where everyone has the difference.
that's
of
the moral
opinion.
dilemma there.
Right? Right.
That's the
Can you do it? Yes. Should you do it? Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and that's where everything. That's where I don't want any part of it.
Well, that's where people, again, this ties into us talking about our young children or kids that are 18. It's like you have to self-regulate that stuff. You can't read a comment on there and lose your mind about it because you wanted to post a video of you playing something or playing a piano or a guitar, and some asshole gets on there and is like, oh, you fucking suck or whatever. And then you get your feelings hurt, and people kill themselves for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That.
You got to be able to self-regulate that, and sometimes these kids, especially when these kids are 12, 13 years old,
So vulnerable, man.
yeah, they're vulnerable to that, and it's very scary.
Yeah,
but do I want it to be regulated? No, I don't want it to be regulated because I believe in a free society. But
I want parents to be able to talk to their children and to let them know that just because you see it on because you can try and block your kids. I mean, we've tried to, shelter and shield Emma from so many things.
yeah, but she's going to learn that shit at school.
Well, she's going to learn it at school, whether she's got, friends that have older siblings or this, that, and the other. It's funny. I saw something today. It was literally today, and this guy was pulled over, and this was... I don't know I guess it was a YouTube video or something like that. I was mindlessly doing things today as I talk about hating social media. I was watching YouTube shorts or whatever. And this guy got pulled over by a cop. And this is a real story. And it literally just had this giant sticker on the back of his glass. And it says, "I eat ass."
Oh God, I wasn't expecting you to go there.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what he. So it's free speech. It's First Amendment. It's protected.
Yeah,
but it just goes back to, if you were a father, and you had a daughter or a son, be like, would you want that? Like, is this the message that you're portraying, or are you just trying to? It's like the guys that have cameras out, be like, I'm just videoing, I'm on the sidewalk. But what are you videoing and what for? Just to prove a point?
yeah.
Do you have a vulgar saying on your truck just because, the United States of America says you can? But should you?
Yeah.
Should you? I mean, it's just like, I don't know.
That's the problem, is everybody has different thresholds of like what is acceptable and what's
100%.
not.
Yeah, and it matters where you are in your life too. I mean, this kid, I mean, and I say kid, I mean, he was probably between 19 and 21. I mean, do I think he has, small children that he wants to read his "I eat ass" sticker? Probably not. Yeah. But I mean, do I want to take that right away from him? I don't. I would rather educate them to say, this is a dumb thing to do, and here's why.
Yeah.
Either way.
But there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on social media, and there ain't enough gram to have a sit down conversation with all of them.
No, nor would I want to. I mean, because I can't convince someone that's not in my same shoes.
Yeah.
Is it his right? Absolutely. It's your right. Do whatever you want to do. And that's what I try and tell my kids. You know, just because you can listen to this song and it says this doesn't mean you can come into my house and say it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how the house is run.
Well, that's what I was going to say is luckily you can, you know what? I know that you're listening to this or you're doing this, but in my house, you're not doing that. And so that's really the only control that you have on it.
Yeah. Well, until you can understand the difference between right and wrong. I mean, I listen to plenty of inappropriate music.
Yeah.
But I pick and choose when I listen to it. And you know, and who I listen to it around.
Yeah.
So do I want to invite this into my home? No, but I mean, it's there.
Yeah. No, I get it.
What are you going to do?
I don't know, man. That's these are some there's a lot of problems with this. Social media is definitely a big thing. But what I like the best out of this conversation that I've got is like a picture of life without having the internet, but not having social media. I mean, it's amazing what the internet can do. It's amazing, like the information. I remember being in school and, you know, the internet just started and, you know, I remember going to an encyclopedia or something on there.
I remember having encyclopedias.
Well, I was going to say I had encyclopedias, but then it turned into like, hey, you don't need that encyclopedia. Here's this encyclopedia program here. And it's like, the kids will never know that now.
Yeah, I can remember when I was this was when I was in college. So this was, I was in college 2002 when I was really in college.
Yeah.
And I can remember one of the things that we were doing, we were, you know, uploading and looking for jobs on monster.com.
Oh yeah, Monster.
Heck yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things. It was neat. We were excited, you know, and we were one of 4 billion applicants.
Yeah.
You know, because everyone was doing the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. And everything's just so fast moving. And I was having this conversation with Daniel earlier that we just got to slow down, man. It's like the amount of work that I get done in a day now compared to the amount of work that I got done 5 years ago is like triple the amount. And it's like, that shit will kill you. It's like just...
Well, it becomes an expectation.
Well, that's what I was going to say. More is expected of you with all the things that are happening. And that's why it's so hard to like slow down and, you know, try to live life, but you can't because your mind's like in overdrive when you're at work because you're trying to get all these things done.
Sure.
But
yeah, it's I would love to take some notes from, you know, European societies that have more just relax a little bit.
yeah.
It would be nice.
Yeah, just hang out.
Yeah.
But we can't hang out because
we're hanging out now.
Yeah.
But we get, you know, at the maximum 2 days to do that unless we make special arrangements.
Yeah.
PTO, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, and it's it's definitely a crazy world. But all right, Gramnesty, we'll wrap it up here. We've gone for a little while, but what I do want to tell you is I appreciate you and I appreciate being neighbors with you and your family and Brandy, and it's a huge value to me and Nikki.
Well, we feel the same way, Tim. I appreciate you having me on, and we'll do it again.
I was going to say we could probably do this all night, but
yeah,
what we're going to do is we're going to turn this off and we're going to sit here and talk shit.
Probably right.
All right, see ya.
See ya.